Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SuppTalk. Once again, I'm excited. I am joined by my partners in crime, no strangers to the podcast, Vinny Galanti, Mr. Masters Muscle, and Jimmy Mentis, IFBB Pro. Welcome back, guys.
Hello. Good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. Before we get to the task at hand, Jimmy, how is the leg press machine?
I have to.
That looks sweet.
I wasn't expecting that. That leg press machine, as you see, sometimes I post it, right? And it is literally a reincarnation of the old Nebula leg press. Okay. Obviously, Tom built it. The adjustable platform is a game changer. But when you sit in this leg press, you are in. You're in. You're locked in.
Yeah.
And all you have to worry about is controlling the weight.
That's cool.
Everything else is done. The safety of it, the angle of it. I went in and I did a post, right? I went in to do a warm-up set. I had 4 plates on each side on the top, and I ended up doing 300s. And that was my quad workout. I went home for 2 days. I couldn't walk.
Cool.
But because it felt so good, you know, when exercise feels so good, nothing hurt. My knees didn't hurt. My hips didn't hurt. My lower back didn't hurt. My ass wasn't coming up on when I was coming down. You know, it was perfect.
Awesome.
I hope everybody gets to, you know, I had some guys today that came and they tried it. It's great. I recommend it. You know, it's not that expensive if you look at all the other leg presses. It's needed in every gym in the United States and in the world. I believe so.
Yeah, Tom and I have been talking behind the scenes, well, obviously corresponding about everything. I mean, everything he puts out now, he's sending me. He'll be a guest in the future just to kind of talk. Because I know, as you said, Jimmy, that now that the equipment's made by scientists and not made by engineers back in the day.
Right. It's Tom's a genius.
Is that Tom Kinney?
No, Tom Eilerman.
Okay.
Tom Kinney's another guy. He's another genius on the other end.
Yeah, he lives near me.
Yeah. TK's, his pieces were amazing too. You know, but this leg press to me is a game changer.
Cool.
You know, I mean, I was going to put the old leg press, the old Nebula leg press next to the new one, and I had it for a day or so. I took the old one out.
Nice.
Once I got on, it was over. Yeah.
So I know you guys are friendly. How do you guys know each other? Just from the circuit, or do you guys have more than that?
We know each other
30 years.
30 years.
30 some years. I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah. So did you guys train together back in the day?
We did.
No, we never did.
We never did. We were just always around, always at the shows, strong and shapely. We just, you know.
I was from North Jersey, and he was down in Toms River area, South Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we've always respected each other, and you know, through this whole process of mine of coming back, Jimmy will tell you how many times I've texted him, called him, get his advice, you know, bounce the ideas off of him, because I wanted somebody to say, you know, shit or get off the pot, tell me the truth, because you know, I went from having people who told me to give it up to people stroking my ego, and I needed a balance. I needed the truth, so I would always contact Jimmy.
Oh, I gave him the truth.
Yeah, so it worked.
The truth. And Vinny, he was ready to jump off that ledge. He was ready to jump. I'm like, don't you dare jump. You need to finish this.
Yeah. You know? This year was a little rough because I broke my hand earlier in the year, and I kept dislocating my knuckle, and the pain I was in was horrible, and it was hard to train, and I just couldn't get my head wrapped around it. Looking back, I say I shouldn't have competed in the world, but after a string of wins that I had, getting a taste of a loss, I think is doing me pretty good right now.
Yep.
Leading into if there's a possibility of me stepping on stage at the Masters Olympia, you know, I don't like that feeling. So, I mean, look, Masters Olympia, if I can crack the top 10 in that thing, I'm going to be a happy camper, but I'm going to give it my all as far as training goes.
I think when Vinny decided to compete, I think it was the best thing that happened to him head-wise.
Well, I had a, you know, I didn't like the way I ended my career back in 2013.
Yeah. Yeah. The feeling I got from him, Sean, was basically I got the vibe like, hey man, I'm coming to you, but don't tell me not to do it. Give me a reason to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because Vin did not want anybody to tell him don't do it. Like he wouldn't listen to him anyway. Like I wasn't that guy who's gonna tell him, you know, Vin, you know, you're old, you know, don't do it, you know, don't hurt yourself, this and that. He still wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah.
So what I try to do, and it wasn't like I'm like a therapist or whatever. I just know from myself, get out of your head, take one day at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Because when I did,
yeah,
when I did a Masters Baltimore Pro in 17 and 18, I took dead last in both, and I reached out to a few coaches after that, and you know, one told me my better days were behind me, leave the sport. One said they didn't want to work with me because they couldn't attach their name to me, right? And I was like, wow, man, holy shit! And you know, put a chip on my shoulder, and imagine if I listened to that.
No.
That was post shoulders, right, Vinny? When you broke both your shoulders, that was post. 17 was after.
Yes, I had 9 anchors in my right shoulder in January of 15, and then my left shoulder I tore and got 9 anchors to repair it in February of 16.
Hey Vin, doesn't it hurt in the wintertime now? Are you good? Like, I mean, is there like
oddly enough, no, my shoulders are fine. It's
what else is hurting?
Just like last week, like the day before it rained, my back was killing me, and I go into work, and I work at Powerhouse in Saddlebrook, New Jersey, and you know, a lot of the guys that are over 40 and 50 are like, dude, are you hurting today? I'm like, yeah, today hurts, man. And then it was raining really bad, like 3 hours later. So I'm like, all right, I guess I must have some arthritis in my back, you know. But my shoulders are all right, because I really pay, even to this day, I make sure I warm up. I have certain exercises that I do. The second I think I don't need to do that, I can go right into my workout. I stop immediately, and I go into, even if it's 2 to 5 minutes of a warm up, I do it. And, you know, my range of motion is great. I know my limits with weights. I know when I could push it. And when I don't, you know, I've always, you know, I never listened to my body back in the day. And I try, you know, we're men, and as bodybuilders, we think, you know, heavyweight. And back in the day, I should have been doing what I'm doing now. I grow better with more slow, controlled, high reps. Right. When I do heavier weight, I usually wake up all banged up. And so now I'm like, you know, listening to the way I should train opposed to the way I want to train. It's two different things.
It's funny because you posted the other day, you were doing legs on the leg press. I watch all your videos. I'm trying to steal tips, so if I do the masters, I can beat you. You posted that on the leg press, you don't go all the way down, right? You don't go because of your lower back. I'm just the opposite. Like if I don't go all the way down, I don't feel anything in my legs. So I have to go extra lighter and control it all the way down, right? But I actually have to exhale on the way down, believe it or not. Just the opposite of what we're supposed to do.
Yep.
So I let the air out, so my diaphragm, everything can just sit on me, right? And then I go up, and because I've tried those halves, it does nothing for me. Full reps for me works. And I can go lighter.
I do that mostly on the squats.
Yeah.
Leg press, I can go a little bit lower, but for the squats, I'm also, you know, it's hard for me to get my hands back to hold the bar with a squat. So I have to go through a whole shoulder warm up before I even get under a bar for a squat. And I'm so, the thing too is there's not very rare I can find someone who knows how to spot. And when you're not comfortable, and you know, there's some big dudes in the gym, but they have no idea. Like I always say this, the art of spotting has been long gone.
Right.
Yep.
And it's a shame. That's like a little thing that, you know, I try to tell some guys in the gym sometimes, I'm like, listen, when you're grabbing guys' elbows, squeeze the elbow. There's a tendon right there.
Right in here.
Yep. Squeeze the elbow and the weight goes up.
Goes
and they're
up.
looking at me like I'm crazy. And then when I do it with them, they're like, oh my God, I did 5 more reps.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know. I can't remember anyone teaching me that. It was just stuff we knew from the 80s and 90s.
Just watching. Actually, I learned a lot training with Rich, right? Because he was spotting me, and then I would do the same thing. It just automatically, like, we learned from the pros. We learned, we mixed it up with the pros. You know, we had those, you know, those Champions Day, and then we had at the shows, and after the shows we would train and stuff. And I learned by training with them.
Yeah. You know, I see people like so when you and I would train for shows back in the day, we had no distractions, and we weren't confused when we went to the gym, because we kind of like woke up before our feet hit the floor in the morning. We knew kind of, all right, I know I'm doing legs today, so I know what I'm going to do when I get to the gym. And we didn't have social media to confuse the hell out of us. Right. You know, it's good and it's bad. Right. I use social media and the internet now just to get a spark, to remember some stuff. But the phone is shut off unless I'm doing a video for myself real quick. But, you know, in between sets, these guys are distracted today, and they laugh at me when I tell them, like, you're really distracted. You don't know, and you don't realize how much you're not intense. You know, it's just it's a different world.
Even between sets, you go to your phone, you're out, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, people think, no, I'm just what's so distracting?
Not the same. It's not the same. Not the same. Do you know, to this day, God honest truth, to this day, as soon as I wake up, you know what I say? What do I have to train today?
Do the same
thing. This day. To this day. And
if I don't think like that, my day
years. I fought it so many years. And now I finally embraced it this last year. Yeah.
Jimmy, I just gotta ask though, when you're training in the gym, how do you stay motivated to like Debbie Deb and everything you're listening to in the gym lately?
You know what? It really gets me. The only thing that distracts me is sometimes I try to hit 3-4 poses where I know where the song's going, you know, and then I end up either losing my balance, you know. But I put some old freestyle songs on, and I just go. I just love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So do you train with anyone, or are you training solo?
No, I'm training solo right now. I'm going to have, you know, if I decide to do the show, I got a couple guys that are going to come and meet with me and train.
Yeah, the same thing with me, because like I'm so in my way right now that I don't want any distractions, and I have literally like 2 or 3 guys that I'll only allow in my circle to train, because I know I'm going to have a good workout. They're in it. There's no distractions.
Right.
I do a set, they do a set. Nobody's picking up their phone. There's no distractions. And fortunately for me, they'll follow me to gyms that I want to go to.
Right.
So it's really cool. So I got like a nice pick of gyms around here.
You got plenty of nice gyms around there.
Yeah.
So do I. So do I. I got some nice gyms around here as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's John De La Rosa's got a really nice gym. There's University Fitness. They got some old pieces there. They got some nice all-around pieces. Obviously, I'm biased because I truly believe I have the best pieces in the pit, which I have my next warehouse, which I'm in right now, doesn't have even more beauty fit, because we've got fulfillment centers now in our own warehouses. It's another 60 pieces of equipment in this warehouse, aside from, so I basically spread them out, and I got more leverage pieces here. It's just
nice.
Yeah. The only reason why I won't get a training partner now is because I'll end up training them.
Yeah, no, I get you.
You know, and nothing wrong with that, but not right now. I just want to focus on what's working for me, and then when I want to turn it up a little, because right now it's a very sensitive time for me. You know, I definitely want to do the show. But I want to be smart about it, because I have a full hip replacement. So, and my lower back's been really, really bad, really bad. So if I can keep my lower back healthy and build my ass again, I freaking lost my ass. and I think that's why I've lost like my lower back. That's why I got problems, right? So my legs are responding, everything is responding, build my glutes up again. But the thing is, every time I train my glutes and I go a little overboard just to go that one step more, they get sore and they pulls my lower back.
What about Bulgarian split squats?
I'm gonna try that. You're right, because I know you do it and a couple other guys do it. I tried that a couple months ago, and I got carried away with 5 pounds, and they felt so good.
5 pounds?
yeah. For me, once I go all the way down and go all the way up, I have good blood volume, right? So I did 5-pound dumbbells, right? And my legs blew up. I did like 5-6 sets. I overdid it, and next thing you know, everything was sore. So,
yeah, well, they'll kill you.
Oh yeah, I love them. Absolutely love them.
I got them from Evan Centopani.
Mm-hmm.
When he tore his quad and he was coming back, I don't know if it was in a magazine or online. I just read something or maybe a video. He was talking about Bulgarian split squats, and I thought, man, that's a stupid looking exercise.
Yeah.
So I said, let me give it a try, and that's my bread and butter, the Bulgarian split squat, because it allows me to go deeper than I can with a regular squat, and it's a game changer in the.
And your hips stay forward.
What's that?
And your hips stay forward. Your ass doesn't come up.
They stay locked in. They're forward, and it's constant tension up and down, and your ass, hamstrings, quads, teardrops. Yeah, they're all messed up for 4 days after that.
Yeah.
I
love it.
So let me ask you guys this. So we're all over 50 now, okay, and we're all still training crazy. Do you guys subscribe to anything outside, like the cupping techniques, the ice baths, massage therapy more often? Do you guys subscribe to any of that type of stuff?
Absolutely. I got 2 people that have been in my corner for the last 3 or 4 years. This guy, Nick Dynamic Stretch here in Jersey. He just puts me through a whole series of stretches, fixes me. He has a clinical background, so he'll say, okay, your pec is not firing because your lat is needs work, and then he'll start digging into my lat and behind
that's Chinese
ear.
to you, right?
Huh?
And that's Chinese to you.
Yeah, it's like, how did this happen? And then my pecs are on fire, and so then I got this girl Melissa who does, excuse my language, she fucks me up. She digs deep so bad. Literally, I'm tapping out on the table.
Yeah, those are the good ones.
Cupping, graphing, you name it. And if it wasn't for those 2, I don't think I could do the things that and I have an inversion table in my house that I get on almost every day.
That's great. I have I started massages yesterday, and I was so sensitive. She was literally just petting me, and I took the day off yesterday because I was getting achy. I was drinking water. I was just so.
Lets all the toxins out of your body.
Yeah. But I loved it. But I got Nick Ruggiero as my chiropractor, sports chiropractor. He's the one. Nick is for the Miami Dolphins and the Florida Panthers. He's the one that I have the pain relief product with.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And he puts me down, and next thing you know, my whole body's singing. So I haven't been as religious as you, because you got a little taste of the pie a couple of years ago. So you're still, like, hey, I'm getting in shape. So I'm starting to get getting into the rhythm, and I miss it. I'm really enjoying it. My food is up again. Now, for me to be healthy, and I'm sure Vinny knows this too, it's not the training anymore. It's everything outside.
Yeah.
The recovery.
It's everything outside that we need to follow, okay? Because we're not Superman anymore, right? So if I can stay healthy doing the outside stuff, the training and the dieting, to me, I gotta be honest with you, it's a flip of the switch. I won't have any problems.
Yep.
To
piggyback off of that, I teamed up with I'm gonna botch his last name up. He's from the 80s, Emmerich Denzeg.
Oh yeah, I know Emmerich.
Yeah, Emmerich.
He's down here, isn't he?
I believe he's in California.
Oh, okay.
So he introduced me to Humano.
Yes.
And it is a game changer. From recovery to realizing I'm in the gym too long. You know, I'm not realizing that I should be ending my workout. To better sleep, to better other things that your functions of your body that you need to better digestion.
Right.
But more importantly, the recovery. So I was saying, I'm not sore. Let me give this whole recovery thing a try. Let me train back and legs back to back, and let me see if I have the actual energy to hit back the day after legs, because usually it's always a day rest.
It's crazy.
Yep.
After back and legs. So I did it for 2 weeks in a row, and it didn't even phase me. I had an amazing back workout and leg workout.
Wow.
I've been telling everybody about the Humano. I think it's something that should be in everybody over the age of 50 should be using it.
Emmerich hit me up about a month ago in Messenger. And he goes, "Hey man, I want to talk to you." And I got to be honest with you, I totally forgot, and I think I blew him off now that you're mentioning it.
Yeah, no, you know, when I first spoke to him, I was like, you know, listening to his theories and thinking this guy's nuts. And then
those are the guys you need to listen to. Right.
So I'm like, I thought about it, and then I said, let me give him a call again. Yeah. We talked, and he explained everything to me in detail. He took his time, and yeah, we talk like every week now.
That's right.
Really right. Good guy. I mean,
I'm going to go back to my messages, my DMs, and now let's just say that first of all, I'm going to apologize, and then I'm going to say, hey, what do you got?
So, Vinny, is that a daily usage, or is that just strictly after like heavy sessions?
I take it 4 times a day. I take it as soon as I wake up in the morning, immediately before I train, and right after, and right before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And the days I don't train, which are Thursday and Sundays, the other two times I take it is just 20 minutes before a meal.
Okay.
You guys make me feel I should put on a jacket or a hoodie.
Well, dude, we're in the Northeast here, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to. That's nice, man. You got a triple XL on that?
Yeah, I got one for you. I got to send it to you.
Jimmy, so are you eating better? So I saw I'm going to call it porridge or whatever you had yesterday morning or this morning. Are you eating better now? Have you always eaten good and kind of just stepping it up a notch?
I've always eaten healthy. How's that? Okay. In the past month and a half, I've been eating like I'm getting ready for a show.
Cool.
And my calories are up there. I started at 2,500 calories. Now I'm at 4,000. And I was 260. Now I'm between 248, 252. And I want to stay here, clean up. Started my cardio nice and slow, 20 minutes a day. Like I said, I feel, knock on wood, I feel really good. I just hope that I stay smart and not let my drive and my enthusiasm turn me on to like, okay, let's go do another, 15 reps or 30 reps, or let's put another 4 plates on, So I want to train me. I want to step out and have Jimmy Mentis train Jimmy.
Yeah.
And if I could do that, I think I'll be there.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because we're at a point in our career and our age that we know what we used to do, but we have to focus on what we can do now. Right. We can't focus on what we used to do, right? And there's that point in the workout when you just know this is over. It's done.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long.
It's painful.
Mentally painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, we're men and we want to, destroy the gym, and we want to be alpha and blah, 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 and all that fun stuff, right? So, but we got to be smart about it, because we want to have the opportunity to train tomorrow. We don't want to push the envelope. Is that extra set going to really do anything for us? It takes us so long to get past feeling the ligaments and tendons and then feeling the muscles.
No, man, you have helped me with your videos and the talks that we've had. Obviously, you've called me to help you, but vice versa. Without you knowing, you have helped me. So I'm actually doing like I said, I'm actually following your thing, just, time under tension. And sometimes I'll throw a couple reps in there.
Absolutely. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, listen, I don't train that way 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's probably 80% of the time. And there are some days where I do some cheat sets like Arnold used to do, but it's not like using a ton of weight or anything. It's just a little bit more. I'm pushing the envelope just a little bit, and I touch it and I walk away.
Right.
Like today I did back. I put some videos up. I moved the T-bar row a little faster than normal. I wanted to go a little heavier. But I made sure like I had to do the T-bar row almost close to last, because now my back was warmed up, my knees were warmed up, my lower back was warmed up, my shoulders were really warmed up. Now I could do T-bar row. So it's like when you go into the gym, I can't do compound movements first anymore. They got to be like almost third. And
I'm still training on compound movements. Still. I've always.
I had surgery though, and I got to make sure I can't. I don't want to do anything stupid.
Yeah, I love those compound movements. To me, that's a difference for me. And then I'll just like T-bar. Like yesterday, 2 days ago, I had back, right. So, I had the carrying T-bar, and I got rid of it because I didn't want to take on that step. So I went back to the old school, the whole little landmine in the corner, and I took the row handles and I put one plate, and I said I'm just going to isolate it and just move. Man, that one plate tore me apart.
Oh, sure.
Tore me apart. My lower lats and the Christmas tree, which we got to talk about Christmas trees because today was a big talk about Christmas trees, even though it's around Christmas time. Right, Sean?
Yeah, I know. Well, Vinny got me in on it, so I kind of all of us here.
Yeah. No, you drive this podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I did 4 sets, maybe 15, 20 reps, isolated, and they felt good. I'm like, okay, can you imagine if I put 2-3 plates on this when I'm ready? Those compound movements for me work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jimmy, let me ask you this: if you wake up in the morning and you're kind of feeling so, do you go to the gym and put in a half-ass, or do you just scrap and say, I'm only going to go in when I'm feeling, 90, 100%?
No. First of all, I don't train in the morning.
Well, just in general, whatever it may be, like for your day.
I wake up feeling like shit every day. So.
Oh my God.
At night, I'm doing the Masters Olympia. In the morning, I'll grab me a cup of coffee and I'm good to go. Right.
Yep.
But I've learned to take 1 minute at a time. Yep. I do stretch. I got some machines at home in the garage and I stretch. I got some turf on the garage and I stretch. And then once I eat my first meal, I expect too much from myself. That's my problem. Okay. I expect way too much. And I love pressure. I'm starting to realize, can I handle so much pressure anymore? Even though
you mean pressure from in the gym training, or pressure like
in general, okay. Business in general. I love my plate full. Love it. When my plate's empty, I'm miserable, and I'm miserable when my plate's full. But it's a different misery, right? So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about is, what am I training today? Right? Then I'll have my breakfast. I'll do my emails and this and that. By the time I get to the office, I'm good. But I never go into the gym, good or bad. I still go in. Okay. I still walk through that pit. And sometimes, Sean, when I don't feel that workout, I have no expectations, and they end up being the best workouts ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when I put the pressure on, especially legs, like for some reason, a lot of bodybuilders, the guys who just love to train, if they don't have that good leg workout, it ruins the rest of the week.
Yep.
Like if you don't have a good leg workout, it's like you might as well just not train the rest of the body parts. It's just, that's how I was. So even now, when I go in to train legs, I used to go in there saying, I'm gonna have a great workout, right? And somehow, some way, during the middle, I'm like, I'm not having a good workout, and I'll just bring myself back and kind of start all over again. But now every leg workout, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, and I walk in, put some music on, And once that blood starts pumping in those quads or
Yeah.
hamstrings, whatever I'm doing, I just ride with it. So
Because I know Vinny. Go ahead, sorry, Joey.
So I can say that every time I leave the gym, I'm very happy, very content.
Because I know, Vinny, we talked about it on a previous podcast that you've gone into the gym and just don't feel it and just walk back out again.
Yeah.
It's happened. Yeah. I mean, you have to remember, I'm a little scared sometimes because I've had the major surgeries, injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't want to what does it really matter if I miss a workout? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like, the mindset of like you're being lazy. I'm not being lazy. I'm being very cautious, and I'd rather miss a day. Like 3 weeks ago, I walked in. Jimmy knows this. We're like you said a minute ago. We feel like shit every day, so we have to differentiate the difference between, okay, this is just the way we feel because we're in our 50s, and on top of that, are we really tired? Are we really beat up? Did we not recover properly from the last 2 or 3 workouts? And you have to really be smart about it. Like you said about being Superman, sometimes the workouts have to be Clark Kent-like, and there's nothing wrong with that either. A couple of weeks ago, I walked in and did a couple of sets, not even a couple of sets. I did a couple of reps on curls, and I knew that's it. I just walked out, and the front desk staff was like, "Where you going?" I'm done. Like, what do you mean you're done? And some of them are competitors. I'm like, you got to know when to call it a day.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you're being lazy." I'm like, "No, I'm being smart."
Right.
I went home, and I think that day I actually went to Five Guys. I had a big burger, some French fries, and I didn't do it because I was being lazy. I just know
You knew.
I need more food right now. I need an extra potato and chicken breast is not gonna get me over this hump of being tired.
Yeah.
And the next day I woke up fresh and I had a great workout the next day, and we move on. And then there's sometimes when I, that period of time between October when I competed to now, there have been little spurts where I purposely said, okay, I'm taking 2 to 3 days in a row off because, the energy I gave into the shows this year were full throttle. Well, I was in pain because I had a broken hand, and I trained through that. And I think that stressed me a little bit. And then I was healed, and I wasn't happy with not the results at the World, but at my own performance.
Right.
Like I wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I looked at the pictures, and I'm like, wow, I didn't look good. I mean, my back was flat. I was holding a lot of water. And when I start holding water, that's from stress. And I wasn't stressed out.
Yeah,
I was just stressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I knew that, and I went on vacation for a week and regrouped, and I said, I'm going to do Daytona. And I didn't train that whole week when I was on vacation. I recovered, relaxed, full throttle again, training balls out. I was healthy. My hand was good. And now from October to now, I've picked 2 to 4 days every once in a blue moon on purpose, even if I was feeling good, because when the talk of the Masters Olympia was coming up, I'm thinking I need to prepare myself to be fresh when January comes.
Right.
Yep.
Because you got to be smart about this at our age. And I was like, I need to be fresh. There's no reason to kill it now, but when I do go into the gym, I will kill it.
Yeah.
And taking 2 to 4 days off is a smart thing leading into a prep. I wanted my receptors clean. I wanted my joints healthy. I wanted my brain fresh, and just, I just want to do the right thing and just trying to approach it right.
Your body. Truth be told, yesterday I told you guys I got a massage, right? And I was achy all day and this and that. At 9:30, I went to Five Guys. 9:30 at night. I had 2 double cheeseburger, French fries. Was in bed at 10:30. Woke up in the morning, feeling full, down 2 pounds.
Oh, jeez.
Down 2 pounds.
Down 2 pounds.
That's
right. So like my body, like, and Tammy's like, you're eating burgers 9:30 at night. I said 9:30. I'll be done by 10. 10:30. I'm in bed. I said I'm achy. I know I need some food, and chicken and rice ain't gonna work right now.
Yep.
Yep.
But
that was it.
You and I come from an era that we we were not nervous in getting a little fun fat on us.
Yeah.
And this era, I feel, is too stressed out. They're always lean all year long.
Because of social media.
Right. So, yeah, social media is painting a picture,
Yeah.
and they're getting stressed out, and they think they need to eat chicken and tuna fish.
Right.
I don't even know if people eat tuna fish today, you know? But, I mean, like, they eat so clean, they're not growing. And you and I came from an era, like, we know the fat's going to come off. We know how to diet hard and get in condition.
I trained so good being 20 pounds overweight. I was strong. My joints were lubricated. I felt great.
Yeah. I mean, I have a little fun fat. I went from having a 6-pack to a tiny little keg right now.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother
Vinny,
me.
I think I'm going to trademark that fun fat.
Yeah.
Fun fat.
It's fun fat.
So let me ask you guys this, because Vinny, we talked about it, and Jimmy, get you in the conversation here. What are your thoughts on the people saying that as you get older, your legs are the first thing to go?
Bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I'm going to debate that with Vinny.
But I'll tell you what. All right, good.
The lower back, the spine, L4, L5 is definitely compressed. So there's no the circulation. The first thing that goes are calves. Okay, the first thing that goes are calves. Then the hips go. Then the glutes go. Now, the reason why most older bodybuilders lose their legs is because they're not training them anymore.
Correct.
My legs have gotten smaller compared to my upper body, but the past 3 months, just giving them a little love and training them properly and foam rolling and doing this, within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, my both of my quads, my legs have grown 4 inches.
Wow.
And that's why I say that bullshit that Vinny says. That's why I can debate it, right? But the thing is, I also have a full hip replacement. I also have an L4, L5 compressed. So, but my legs are getting pumped. They are triggering. So I don't know if they're going to grow or not. But I remember Dexter getting ready for the Olympia. He goes, if I can keep my legs full, So I don't know the reason why a lot of bodybuilders lose their legs. I believe because they don't train them hard enough, as they used to, right? Get on the squat rack. I remember I used to get on the squat rack for 2.5 hours. I never left. That was my whole workout. I would start with a quarter on each side, then I put a 45, then I put a quarter, then I put another 45, a quarter, and I would go all the way up to 405, 500, and then all the way back down for 2.5 hours. I'd just take a bench and my water and my towel and my belt and my wraps and whatever else I needed and a cross, and and I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't leave the squat rack for 2.5 hours. So
I agree with everything you're saying. So I looked at it this way. I can't get in that squat rack. On a good day, I got to 405. So my squat used to be around 315, 365. And I can't get there today. But I can squat 275. Anything more than that, my back is shot. I'm weak. So I started looking at it, like I said earlier, I focus on what I can do, not what I can't do anymore. And incorporating the Bulgarian split squats into my arsenal is an exercise I've never done. So I think, as you know, when you add something new, you get a response from it. And the time under tension has worked for me. My legs are better now than they've ever been. They're bigger, they're fuller, they're more 3D. My hamstrings hang. And it's the only thing I can say is I'm fortunate and I'm just really grateful that I'm able to have an open mind and not closed-minded, trying to force myself to train the way I used to train, or I would be injured again.
Well, think about it. If you want to grow your legs, there's a way. Wherever there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
So you had the will and you found the way, right? But everybody else in their 50s, old bodybuilder, there's no will because there's why.
Yeah.
Why? I agree. I see a lot of these guys who I've competed with on the master circuit still trying to squat 405 and they're moving 3 or 4 reps. And I'm like, oh, oh my God, guys. And you know what? You don't want to believe in what I say? Great. Let your legs shrink. I don't care. And I love some of these. I mean, some of these guys they're great because we all have the same, common interest. because we're older now and we're on the other side of it. And, you know, it's funny, like, you know, back in the day at the Nationals, it used to be, you know, a normal conversation about gear use. And then now I'm in the backstage pumping up with guys in their 50s, and we're talking about Vanguard accounts and 401s and all this kind of stuff. And some guys have grandkids and like, where am I? You know? So yeah, we talk shop about training and, you know,
there's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of guys out there that have DM'd me and are still out there. The ones that maybe have not DM'd me, but there's a lot of guys out there that still have the drive to train. Even guys who've never competed before.
Yep.
In their 50s, you know. And I think it's because of the 90s. Because, you know, you still see Rich training, you still see Barry DeMay training, you still see all the old guys, all the old school guys still training somehow, some way.
Yeah. Barry DeMay looks great.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Lee Labrada looks great.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, and every time, you know, I stopped posting for a while, you know, my workouts, and I was saying to myself, you know, who wants to see me train? You know, I mean, look at all these guys, these new guys, they look phenomenal. They got so much more content, this and that. Why am I posting a workout? I mean, what am I getting out of it, and why should I do it? Who wants to see me? So,
but there's thousands of guys our age that are being inspired.
Thank you. You know, and I realized that because every time I posted a video, I would get so many DMs. Like I'm talking about, like the other day I posted the leg press. I did 300s. Okay, I had 50 DMs in a matter of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and I stayed up all night answering them because I was like, holy shit, you know, if I can just help one person, two people, and it's in all the conversations, guys, you know what the conversation was? You guys can do this. That was it.
Yeah.
They're like, how are you doing this? I mean, is there a secret? How are you doing? I said, no, you got to know your limit and go right under it and push yourself. Wherever the mind goes, the body will follow. Kevin always used to say that.
Absolutely.
Is it humbling? Is it humbling though, Jimmy, to know that you were truly an IFBB pro for what, 8-10 years?
Yeah.
And you still here 20 years later that people are still like, oh my God, whatever happened to him? Except for you, Vinny. I mean, you're more in the spotlight now.
Yeah.
But again, I've got covers from you from Muscle Media 2000. I've showed you, and Jimmy, I might have one or two of your magazines still. And I'm one of those old school guys. What happened to the old school guys? You know,
it's very humbling. It's sometimes you're like, what do I say? What do I do? And then sometimes you're just like, you know, my wife tells me, you know, just be you. Just, you don't need to set yourself up in any way. Just be you.
Yeah.
And the past 6 months, I've just DM'd them, and sometimes I actually send them a video of explaining something from the pit.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll leave the office, I'll go over to the pit and show them the exercise, you know, even a hand grip, you know. And I love it. I got to be honest with you. I think that's what makes me keep going, to be honest with you.
I had a DM, I think it was a month ago, where a guy messaged me and he said, so the guy had problems. He was 30 years old. And he messaged me to say, thank you for the content you're putting out. It gets me to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Now, I really, that was it, right? The next day, and this was the most, touching thing. His mom messages me and says he was going to take his life last night.
Wow.
Damn.
But you and other guys that he follows have inspired him. Thank you for being there for him in a way you don't even know about. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, wow. And you could touch somebody's life like that. Humbling. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's just amazing.
You never know where someone is emotionally and mentally. You never know.
No, you don't, because I keep saying, I remember 10 years ago when I wasn't in a good place, and I remember going to talk to somebody, and they told me straight out, I don't want to hear your problems. I have my own. Please leave me alone. And I was like, oh, right. Wow. I mean, and I said to myself, I will never do that to somebody if they ever need to talk even if it's for 30 seconds. And now I have this platform, you have this platform, and it's pretty cool that we can do this.
Yeah.
You know, we're not only changing our lives and trying to, you know, we're in the Masters now, and I would love to do a 212 show again. That's unrealistic. I know that. If I ever did one, it would be just to see if I can crack the top 10. But we know where our bread is buttered now, and we're having a second wind at our careers in the Masters, and stepping on stage and being kind of like a beacon of light for some people.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Masters are popping up everywhere.
You know, we're very lucky to have.
Well, Gary Udix.
Gary Udix.
Yeah, Gary is.
Tim Garner.
Yep.
Chris Mines in California. Yep. Rich Singelman.
I was planning. I told you I was going to do the Legend Show. Was it last year?
Yeah.
You know, I had planned to do it, and then it was just my whole lower back. But they're popping up for a reason, you know. And business wise, if they weren't making any money, they wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be doing it just because we feel like we need a show, right?
Right.
So business wise, there's an attraction there. I mean, there's a Masters Olympia in Romania.
I wish that Steve Weinberger had a Masters at the New York Pro.
You never know.
That would be great.
You never know.
You just drive down the street to it.
Yeah. You never know. You know.
So what are you guys hearing on the street? Sorry, Joe. What are you guys hearing on the street for the Masters? Though, you hearing more positivity, neutral? Because again, the actual pros that are still younger are kind of all against it. You know, we've talked about this. Jimmy Milos is, you know, think it's the worst thing you'd ever have. But Vinny, you seem to be more. I think of you more like the Bob Chick of right now the Masters division. You're like, well, you're to the grindstone.
Listen, it took me 16 years to turn pro, and when I stepped on stage for the first time as a pro in 2009, I'll be honest with you, I was burnt out.
Yeah,
I was sick of living out of Tupperware for over 20 years. I was sick of, Vin, what are you doing next? What's your next show? What's your next show? And that could get to you. And when you're walking in the gym, that's the only thing people are talking to you about. You're like, leave me alone. I don't want to have this conversation. Can you ask me how my day was? Hey, did you see the game last night? Could we talk about something completely different? So mentally, physically, I was burnt out. And I didn't, you know, I was 40, 41 years old, and I just didn't give it, I couldn't give it 100%. I should have walked away a lot sooner. But I tried, and I kept trying, and I kept getting worse, and I kept getting worse. And I didn't have the pro career that I envisioned.
Yep.
So,
yeah, but you had that void. There was a void there.
What do you mean?
You had a void. That's why you came back. That's why you did all you.
Yeah.
Because so, that void, it was just eating you away. You know, the reason Milos is against it because he don't want to diet and compete again. That's why. You know, has fun in Vegas now, telling everybody what's wrong with them, what's right with them. Because Milos, you know, if Milos really wanted his ass, Milos down deep inside would get his ass in shape and compete again. Okay, don't tell me that none of these guys, if it was easy for them. Mentally, physically, I think they could not get back on stage.
I remember being backstage at a show once. I think it was 3 or 4 years that Ronnie was removed. He was retired, and someone asked Hani, "Well, do you think Ronnie will ever step on stage again?" And Hani said, "Okay, picture this scenario: you just graduated college, and it's 5 years later. Do you want to go back to school?" I'm like, well, that's a good point, because why would you want to engross yourself in all of that studying again? And no, Ronnie, you're not. Once you're retired, you're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, it's very hard. I was comfortable when I had my shoulder surgeries. It took me 3 years to get uncomfortable again. And people around me were like, why are you doing this to yourself? Yeah. I'm like, because I love it. And I want to know that feeling again. And when I was getting trashed in the 2 shows I did in 17, 18, people were like, why are you doing this to yourself? Because I love it. I need to do this.
There's the thing about this. You see, Ronnie was fulfilled. Okay, that's like coming to me and saying, "Would you start another supplement company?" Why would I settle? I've hit a grand slam with Beauty Fit. Okay, why would I come back and do it all over again and settle for a ground rule double?
Right. Exactly.
I won't do it again. You see what I'm saying? But I wasn't fulfilled with my career, my bodybuilding career, because, like I said, I retired because I was just tired of eating. Okay. And then I fell into this. I started the supplement. I got into the supplement business, and then I focused on that. And I always said, I can always compete later. I can always compete later. Every year, I can do it later. I can do it later. I can do it later. But then again, business was sucking me in a good way.
Yeah.
So when you got the Ronnie Colemans, you got those guys that were up there. They're fulfilled.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so you got guys that weren't in the top 5 at the Olympia, weren't in the top 10 at the Olympia. They would love to come back somehow, some way.
I think Darren Charles is going to come back.
Oh yeah, Darren says he's going to do it. You know,
and
I also heard
Tony
Pearson might do it.
Tony Pearson.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, Rusty is thinking about coming back. I mean,
yeah,
just what I'm hearing. You know.
Yeah, Rusty's definitely doing it. We talked. Yeah. We have a nice little relationship. Rusty's a really good guy, and we DM each other every now and again. You know, it was really cool for me because, you know, we're on the East Coast and Rusty was on the West Coast, and I would see him in the magazines and his posing at the Iron Man and other shows he did. And I'm like, wow, that guy is just, it's artwork, the way that guy poses and the way he moves. And like, I always thought I was a decent poser. Then I would look at him and like, he really knows how to nail his poses. So confident and so relaxed on stage. And when I got to talk to him at the Legion last year, he was just he's just relaxed and he's cool and he's
that's
chill.
His demeanor too, right? He's a relaxed type of guy.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So in return, I thought, you know, I think about Rusty sometimes and think about, you know, like he's just a chill dude. And it kind of helped me in the next level of, I'm going to say it this way for lack of a better term, my own chillness.
Right. Because
as we've gotten older, I need to like, hey, let's just take a step back here and analyze this situation, just like you're doing, the same way you're doing it. Like, I need to have everything in line. I got my ducks in line, and I need to like have this here before I think about this. And, you know, being around other guys that conduct their lives like that, it plays off and you learn from people.
Right.
You know, I'm 55 years old and I'm still learning.
We're always going to learn. And if we stay open-minded, you're always going to learn. I learn every day. I learn about training. I learn about dieting. I watch the C-Bum videos. I watch the Nick Walker videos. I watch everything. I pick up new stuff. There's some stuff I don't agree with, but there's stuff that I'm like, makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Guys, let's talk about the Olympia here. We can start 212. We can speak open. I mean, let's talk open for a minute because I wasn't there. We all have just pictures and videos to go by, but highs, lows. I mean, what are your overall thoughts, placings?
I was disappointed.
Disappointments.
I was disappointed in Hunter Labrada coming in a little bit softer. I thought he was going to come in on. I think, you know, I talked about this in the past with people messing up. You know, Jimmy and I grew up in an era where we didn't have names for things. We didn't have a peak week. It was Monday, and you had a process that you followed if you were not in peak condition. And there was so many times you're in this condition and you should just ride it out and walk on stage as is. And a lot of these guys made a lot of drastic changes. And I think that's why some of the old time guys are coming out and saying some negative things about them. But we all had a bad day in the office. I mean, there's shows I peaked for 2 weeks later, came in off. So it's hard. It's hard to, and you know, with being on social media now, you know, if we had it back in the 90s, some of those guys could have had their ass handed to them too, on social media on their condition. Then nobody ever hits their peak perfectly. So I feel bad for the guys getting trashed right now about, you know, Hottie, you know, is being compared to Dorian Yates' back right now. I've seen that. You know, I think Nick Walker hit his his conditioning perfect. I was getting text messages from people, I think on Thursday. You see how crappy Nick looks? I'm like, he's flat.
Yeah, he looked flat. He looked flat.
He's got 24 hours to carb up. Like, no, he's never going to do it. I'm like, guys, you don't know bodybuilding then.
You don't know bodybuilding.
So,
well, here's the thing. Overall, I think the guys look great. Overall, and I'll tell you why. I have a theory. I've been looking at this thing, and I like dissecting things, right? And sometimes it works for me, and sometimes it works against me. But I take my chances. I have a theory on what's been going on the past 5-6 years with bodybuilding. Can we all agree? You don't have to agree with me, but everybody is off at least 10 pounds. Everybody on that stage could have been 10 pounds lighter.
1,000%.
Okay. So you're 10 pounds lighter. Now you're drying out. Is it more dangerous or less dangerous? More dangerous.
Well, it depends on.
Listen to my theory, because I know where you're going to go with that. 6 years ago, or 7 years ago, when everybody was dropping left and right because they were peeled, right? Add the diuretics, they're dropping. Either before the show, after the show, in the hotel rooms, something was going on. Now, it's fallen back on the IFBB. So, again, I think this is my looking at things. So they basically said, let's regroup. Let's start rewarding the less shredded, ripped, more fuller look, because we don't want them dropping.
I agree with that.
Okay. Now the guys are coming in 10 pounds heavier because that's the look that they've been rewarding. And everybody says they look like shit. And they're being compared to the guys in the 90s.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to be fair to the boys now, they don't know any better. And that's in all due respect, right? They don't know better because that's the look that they have seen being rewarded. The nice full look. No striations on the shoulders. You know what I'm saying? No feathers. Nobody had any feathers on their legs. Nobody.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And true, no one had Christmas trees. Nobody had Christmas trees. Okay? So, but back then, everybody was on thyroid medication. Everybody was 10 pounds lighter, 15 pounds lighter. No one was over 240, 250, 230, 225, 230, 235. That's it. At 6'1", you were 240. You were still overweight. But you look bigger. Yeah. Okay? So now you got the boys looking at 250. I mean, Nick lost 50 pounds. Why would you gain 50 pounds to lose 50 pounds? How much weight are you going to gain after that Olympia, your last year's Olympia? Put 20 pounds on you. Work with that. Why would you gain 50 pounds? Your body went through everything to lose that weight. Now, I don't know what this guy's taking. I heard that, I'm not saying he's taking it, but I know they have access to DNP. I know they have access to all that kind of stuff, which is dangerous as shit. Okay? So now they're coming down to a level which is basically 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, let's say. Okay? 2 weeks out. And they're just sitting there. And they feel that is contest shape. So we had 4 levels of getting ready for a show. You had your off season, you had your hardness, you had the hard status, right? And you had the getting cut status, and then you had the shredded status. These guys are in between these two, hard and getting cut. Okay. Now, you throw in that colored background, okay, and you throw in that whole stage, those guys aren't looking good on film.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't want to go to the Olympia. I want to stay on the athletes. So if these guys would come in 10 pounds lighter, we would all shut up. But they don't come in 10 pounds lighter because the judges are rewarding that look. So what they do is the judges are saying, okay, who's the best out of this look? Not they're saying, well, you guys aren't in shape, because they can't say that. They have to pick who's best out of that look.
Mm-hmm.
So who was the best out of that look?
Right.
I think they were spot on.
I agree. I agree with you. What you're saying.
Because when you're over, when you have, and I'm going to stay at the 10-pound mark, when you have 10 pounds over the weight that you're supposed to carry to get ready for a show, anything you do is going to work with you or against you. And 8 out of 10 times, it's going to work against you. Example, Hunter Labrada. Whatever he did screwed him up. Whatever Ramy did screwed him up. Whatever Bonek did screwed him up.
You don't think the guys today are taking diuretics?
I think it's a lot less than the 90s. I mean, that's just me. I think because of that risk factor.
Here's the thing. Even if they're taking diuretics, they're 10 pounds. They have 10 pounds more weight. It's not going to show. They're just going to come in harder. There's no straight. There's body fat on them that they're not going to see that quality muscle that some of these guys might have underneath. Are you telling me? I've seen these guys in these videos during their workouts. They freaking look amazing.
Right. So why don't they walk on stage like that? That's my point.
That's what I'm telling you. Because when you said that peak week, because they're 10 pounds overweight, they think now they're going to cut off their carbs and carb up and then take a diuretic. You can't do that when you're not freaking shredded. Because when you're shredded, you can lose something and still be there. But when you're borderline, let's put it this way. An example. I don't know if it's going to work. The example works or not, but follow me here. You're borderline diabetic. You eat sugar, you're going to be a diabetic, right? So that one step is going to throw you off. So anything they do that's going to take, because it's a chance. You're taking a chance.
Yeah, I know.
So you're taking a chance and saying, okay, hey, look, why don't you eat these carbs, eat these fats, throw in a steak, and let's see how you look in the morning. But when you know you're ready, okay, when you know that you are sliced and diced and you got that face of death in you,
Skeletor,
right? You can have your carbs, you can have your steak, and if you wake up in the morning, you know what? You cut your water a little. Because because all it is water. But when you have that extra 10 pounds on you, now you got the water, and now you add the stress, because your cortisol levels are up backstage.
Yeah,
it's everything.
I feel bad that they're getting,
I do too, because I got to be honest with you. I was the one. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of beating these kids up because they don't train hard enough, because they don't do this, they don't do that. And because after last year's Olympia, I was very disappointed in the whole bodybuilding thing. Okay. And as I was watching these guys train, I was watching these guys put together, because they're amazing. They're amazing guys. We're not going to call them kids. And I apologize for calling them kids. Hunter's an amazing guy. Sebum's amazing guy. Nick's an amazing guy. He's one of our Jersey boys, right? And they have so much to offer bodybuilding, so much knowledge, so much, so much, I want to say content because that's cliche, right? Just experience to show the new kids, us, all of us. I learned from Hunter some of the things he did, you know, but I just think they're getting comfortable not going to that edge. And in bodybuilding, it's all about conditioning.
Yeah.
And they're rewarding the conditioning.
One of the very few guys that I think came in ultimate condition was Sean Clarita. I think Sean, he took his personal to another level.
Why? Because he had a 212. He had a mark. He knew that he couldn't go past that. And I don't even think he was close. How much did he weigh? 180?
Yeah, 180, 183 something, yeah.
Right. You know, I think Derek looked amazing, and I think Sebum looked amazing, and I got to tell you, I think Hadi looked amazing too for what we've seen them before. I know Hadi had been in better shape, but their trainer Hani is that guy that would take him to the edge, right? Look what he did to Phil. Why wouldn't Hani take Derek and Hadi to Phil's look? Because he didn't need to. They're rewarding that.
Mm. But you think that? But in the classic division, they're rewarding it. So because it's a different look.
Well, think about it. You got less muscle. You got less muscle.
Right.
Tell me, I know I look better at 245 than I did at 270.
Of course, yeah. I mean, but like I remember the guy who took second, Ramon.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce his last name. Caraz. I can't pronounce his
I'm
name.
never gonna try it.
I mean, his back was diced. Christmas tree shredded from the back. He beat Sebum. Sebum couldn't stand next to him on the back shot, back double bicep shot. Glutes striated. So it's like they brought their conditioning. So I see what you're saying, because they got to make a weight class because they're the height and the weight.
Right. So basically what they're doing is saying, hey, I need to slice and dice this. I need to stay under my weight class. So basically maybe that weight, that number is making them drop that body fat.
I see what you're saying.
Do you guys feel though with the open is that you guys are at your levels that instead of saying, look, I'm going to put on 5 pounds, 8 pounds, come in the absolute best that I personally can, they say, no, I've got to put on 20 pounds because I have to compete with Rami. Because you kept hearing like Brandon's put on 20 pounds this year. This person's put on 15 pounds to compete with Rami instead of coming in their best, that they're chasing instead of trying to do their best. I
think social media fucks the whole game up because they're getting stressed out and they hear it over and over and over again. So if you go back to, I just have to do this for a second, go backwards. When Dorian was on the scene, Lee Labrada didn't change his game. He stayed in his own lane. Neither did Sean Ray. They didn't change their game. They stayed true to themselves. And the condition all three of them brought were incredible. They brought another level of conditioning. So I think here's where social media, I think, hurts everybody, because you're getting to see people way too often, and people who are showing themselves way too often could also get stressed out doing that. Jimmy, you know this. Back in the day, it was like, oh, if I don't go to Kemper's gym, I'm not going to place well in the show. If I don't go to this gym, you have to go. And I'm like, you don't have to go to anybody's gym. Just show up in your best. And
show up in shape, and no one's going to tell you anything.
Yep, show up in shape.
Could you imagine if Hadi was 10 pounds lighter, if Derek was 10 pounds lighter, if Samson was 10 pounds lighter?
Oh, Samson, dude, was like, wow.
I got Samson winning the Olympia in 2-3 years. Maybe not even, maybe next year.
He kind of reminded me of Johnny Morant a little bit.
He reminds me of Ronnie, I got to be honest with you. I called, Sean, you remember on our podcast?
Yeah.
I had Samson as the kid, the guy who is going to be the next Mr. Olympia within a year or two. I love this kid, this guy.
Yeah.
I got to stop calling these kids.
They're 30 years younger.
I know, but they're grown men.
But I know it's a no-brainer, but don't you find it interesting, though, that the new breed is now overtaking, where you look at the two former Olympias in 4th and 5th, and two 12 guys coming in 1st and 2nd?
Yeah, because you're talking about shape.
Yeah.
I was very impressed, and I said it. I bought the pay-per-view, and I said, if oh Jesus, my name. Oh my God, I forgot his name. I'm definitely no. He won Mr. Olympia.
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon. Oh my God.
Brandon Curry.
If Brandon has brought up his legs and he's in shape, he's going to win. And he wasn't. He brought up his legs. He massed, but he wasn't in shape. Are you telling me if Brandon wasn't 10 pounds lighter with those sizes of his legs because he filled out those his inner thighs and his lower hamstring, you know, because he was very skinny at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
He filled them out, and his upper body was amazing. 10 pounds lighter. You telling me he wouldn't have won the Olympia? Hands down, he would have won the Olympia.
We'll see next year.
That's what I'm saying. The thing is, everybody's telling them, you guys look great, and we're rewarding this. No one from the IFBB Pro League is going to turn around and say, guys, you guys got to come in tighter. They're not going to say that. Because then they're going to start this whole thing again, you know, and it's just going to snowball, especially with all the noise that's been happening now.
So yeah. Jimmy, I know you're a big Samson guy. You don't think Derek has a chance? I mean, everybody had Derek maybe best top 6 at the 5th, 6th, 7th place, and he surprised everybody. I think
I had him top 5. Remember? Did I have top 5?
Yeah, but not as low as second though.
Yeah. Listen, Derek at his best and Samson at his best. I still have Samson because he's the bigger guy. You're talking about muscle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like saying, because Samson reminds me of Ronnie. I'm not saying he's as good as Ronnie, but if Samson can get in that type of shape, that sliced and diced shape, he's a bigger bodybuilder.
I thought I had Samson beating Rami when I was
they couldn't keep Rami out of the top 5. They just couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, I know, but I thought Samson beat him. And
I do believe everybody's saying that he had nerve damage in his back. I do believe that Rami wasn't opening his back in the back double by. He was just holding it there. He wasn't opening it up.
Possibly. And that's another thing across the board. I don't see a lot of these guys really posing that great. I think there's a lot of poses that a lot of guys could fix their posing, and they could actually look better in comparison shots.
Yeah, I don't think they're strategically posing. I think they're posing for whatever looks best for them. But when it comes down to the stage, I think they get sidetracked. And
something's off.
Yeah, you can definitely see some of the poses. But again, I think overall, I think the guys did great. I was very happy to see that. Like the top 10, you know, Ian. All right, you know, like you said, you know, there's a fuck up. You know, there's stuff going on. You don't know what's going on, but you know, leading up to the show, they all look great, and I think they just need to go back to the drawing board and make room for that. Drop another 10 pounds.
Come in a little harder.
Gain the 3 pounds of water, you won't look that bad. You know,
I was saying to you before, like how you and I,
blanket.
Back in the day, we didn't worry about gaining a little bit of body fat, but we also kept it within the realm of 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So when you're saying a guy like Nick Walker gains 50 pounds, why did he gain it to lose it? Nothing against him, because I know him, but I don't know him. Right. So I don't know his camp and I don't know what's going on. So I can't say anything, but maybe that could be reevaluated in their prep for next year. Maybe 50 pounds is way too much. And if he only gains 25 pounds and holds that kind of condition throughout the year, maybe that would be better for him, and he could possibly win the Olympia if he comes in even better. So like you're saying, maybe to learn from it and regroup and come in with a different game plan. And
I think Nick should cash out on this 3rd place win, put 20 pounds on him and make him available to go guest pose and guest appearances all over Europe, and charge 10-15 grand for the guest appearances. And I think he'll get it.
Probably. Oh, yeah.
This is the time that Nick needs to cash in on his work. You know, if he sits home and he turns around and he goes, well, I'm going to win next year's Olympia. Yeah, you can say that, but get your ass on the road. Okay. That's what I did. And that's why I never did an Olympia. I never even qualified for the Olympia. Get your ass on the road, put some weight on you because you're a monster. Okay. And go out, guest pose, shake hands. What do they say? Kiss babies and shake hands and kiss babies. You know, charge 10 grand, 10, 15 grand somehow, some way. He'll get it. There's no way he's not going to get that money.
Yeah.
You know, Go out there and build your future. And then you know what? Shut it down 16 weeks before the show. That's what I'm saying. Stay between 20 pounds, right? Shut it down 16 weeks before your show and get ready for the Olympia.
And
You know?
Jimmy, since you watched it live, I didn't watch a lot of the night posing routines. Was there anybody that blew your mind? Andrew Jack looked like he had a little bit of grace to him. I don't know if Sam Sampson did. Was there anybody else that had good posing?
I was expecting Nick. Speaking of Nick, I was expecting Nick to come out and hit some double bicep and most musculars and some side chest and call it a day. He actually put a routine together.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. They all had good routines. They all, can they do better? Of course, we could. We could all have done better. Overall, I think it was a great Olympia. In the open class, the 212, the classic. I think the bikini, there was a message there. In the bikini, Little Marine winning it.
Did you see the girl that competed? That I don't know what she had, if it was synthol or something in her glutes.
Well, I think she's always had that problem. I don't think it's synthol, whatever it is,
or an implant or something. Looked terrible.
I think she's always had them. I'll be honest with you. When I first saw her years ago, I think she always had them. I think she was just never lean enough to establish that something was wrong.
Yeah.
I think to me, I'm hearing that she swears that they're not. But who are we?
Yeah.
It could be both or torn.
No, there's definitely something going on there. I think the wellness was good. I think the wellness is definitely going to get out of hand next year, and they're going to have to control that.
Well, bottom line, every division is bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And so we progress each year.
Yep.
That's why, like guys, I think like Keon is going to be moving into the 212 division.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
You mean Breon?
Breon. I say Keon.
Because Keon, to me, I think Keon has an amazing physique.
Oh yeah, Keon.
Yeah.
Keon.
I think this guy somehow, some way, I don't know what it is, but he can't put it together, to peak. But this guy is like.
Well, I think Keon is still learning his physique.
Yeah.
He went from classic to 212. He's still growing. He's a young guy. I think Keon is just trying to find his way right now. I don't think that he's not that he's not doing enough. I think he's just got to find out what works for Keon.
Yeah.
But Breon, I think, is having a hard time making his weight class and height for the classic.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to be seeing guys starting to move up, and just like the 212 guys who are in the top 2 in the Olympia used to be 212. I mean, they used to be 212 guys. So It's a progression. It's bodybuilding.
I got to hand it to Breon. He's always with his shirt off, even in his off season. I could never do that. This kid's butt naked all the time. He's always training with no shirt on. He's always doing this, even like months out of the Olympia. And I'm like, this guy's great. I mean, everybody should be like that, just free and just like, screw you guys. I'll see you guys at the Olympia stage. But no, we have to stay covered. We have to hide everything,
The new thing is your pump cover. Some dude came up to me. He's like, "That's a cool pump cover or cover pump, whatever they call." I'm like,
your pump cover.
Pump cover. Like,
what's that?
The fuck you talking about?
What's that?
Your sweatshirt.
Your hoodie shirt on. People wear 2-3 times bigger now, and they say it's a pump cover.
No, man, we wore that to stay warm.
Jimmy, it's new school. They got a term for everything now.
I could never train in a tank top, or I never took my shirt off. I could never. Whenever I always like to stay warm, and every time I took my shirt off, with a tank top or the pose, either the fans or from the AC. We're talking about back then, right? I lose my pump.
Sure.
The cold.
It's a different mindset today. I was joking. I wanted the guy I was training one of my guys today. I said, I'm going to do a drop set on T-bar rows, and 2 kids were on the other side of the gym. We're in the basement of the gym, and they got their shirts off and they got a tripod up and all stuff. So I walked over to the kid and I'm like, "Hey, you do me a favor. Can you put your shirt back on?" And he looked at me and just come over and video my stuff for me. He's like, I go, "You thought I was dead serious, right?" He's like, yeah, I thought we were going to have an argument. I said, look, we're not having an argument. Just relax, calm down. And I just give me a video. He was laughing, and he had a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
Listen, I have pictures of me at 16 with my shirt off at Billy's gym from 1983 or 84. And those guys, I remember it like it was yesterday. Vinny's an asshole, put his fucking shirt back on. And I was just a kid that I just wanted to live it, Yeah. I loved it. So I get these kids. I get them. I really don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, we have the problem. It's us. We got the problem. These kids are doing great. I commend them. I think it's just great. I wouldn't wish the insecurity on these kids at all. The insecurity we had.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Because I would not, even to this day. I mean, all my pitch shirts are 3XL, 4XL. I don't like my arms hanging out at all.
Absolutely.
Like, nobody has ever seen me in a tank top. And one time I did a video 2 years ago. I did a video with a tank top here on this desk, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're wearing a tank top." Because I didn't have another shirt and I had to do a video because we had a special on Beauty Fit, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm doing a video."
Yeah.
But I wish these kids. No, I don't wish anything on these kids like what we had. None of it.
It's a different time and whatever.
Yeah. But overall, I think the Olympia needs some changes. I think they need to get rid of that busy, colorful backdrop. And someone's going to probably tell me, well, it's advertising, is this and that. It's not really advertising because you have all the logos on the bottom. Number one. Okay. So put the logos on the side, do a black backdrop. Now you want to see the athletes in shape. Number one. Number two, there are athletes that have contracts with other companies, and there are shots being taken on stage, being set out on social media with other companies' logos in their pictures. Okay. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got to think about everybody. It can't be one-sided here. Okay. Dan's got to think about the athletes, and the athletes have to think about the Olympia, right? So they all have to come together to work this out. I don't think I think the press conference has to change. I think it was just, if they have to change it, fine. If not, get rid of it. And the pay-per-view. When you have a production like this, and when Dan says, we have the best production, we have this, we have this, we have this, we expect the best. That pay-per-view was so amateurish that it was not, I don't know who hired them or what they did. Usually when you have a big production on a pay-per-view, take UFC. And I'm going to put it up there. The whole Olympia LLC has been promoting that the Olympia is this high production. So I'm going to put you with the UFC. And any type of live entertainment, you can hear the crowd, right? You got the commentators and the crowd, you can hear them, but you can hear the commentators. Every time we have a bodybuilding pay-per-view, you don't hear anybody. You just hear the two commentators. You don't hear the crowd. How can the viewer get into the show when you can't hear the music? Okay, you can't hear the music. You can't hear the crowd. Even back then when ESPN, you remember ESPN Muscle Sport?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Right. And when they would show I remember 1990, Sean Ray was commentating the USA's, and I placed third. And he had said something about me. It was negative, like Sean, usual Sean. And then he said something about my arms. It was funny as hell. He said something about my arms, then I hit a double bicep. He goes, "Oh, I'll take that back." But you can hear the crowd in the background. You can hear all these guys in the background. Everybody. Yeah. This Olympia, and I haven't seen the other Olympias. You don't hear anybody. All you heard was Tim Wilkins and Phil, which they did a phenomenal job. I think it was great. Okay. But if they were part of the crowd, or you can hear the crowd as they're speaking, now I'm in it. Now I'm there.
Yeah.
I think they should look at that stuff. Look at the stage. The lighting's horrible. And the lighting's horrible because of the backdrop. That's why, you know, I saw some posts today, and the lighting and this and that, and the guys are not as ripped. I think all that has a little to do with it. I'm going to add that to it. So, you know, I'm just saying, because everybody wants the sport to progress, right? So what do we need to do? And now that Jake has the Olympia, you got Dan doing an amazing job, and Dan's very passionate about the job. Very passionate. I'm very close friends with Dan. He's doing an amazing job. But there are little things, and I'm sure he's aware of it. He ain't stupid, you know, but I guess some things are a little more priority, and maybe next year they'll fix it, you know. And why are they leaving Vegas? They're coming back to the Olympia. You know,
you gotta love that, going to Orlando this year. Next year, you gotta love that in your backyard.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm not going to complain. But they did a whole production of going back to Vegas, and now they're coming back to Orlando. So there's something there that either financially or something that they needed to, you know, to review and maybe pull back on. But go ahead.
No, good. I was gonna say, I wish the Masters Olympia was in Orlando.
You know, I actually thought it was, but I got thrown for a loop. I thought it was too, to be honest with you, because that's what I was hearing. But for some reason, I think Jake wants it in Romania because it's Alina's hometown, or she's from there, right? So
they're building the brand over there.
It might change. Listen, the Arnold Amateur was off. Now it's back on. So who knows? Maybe we can convince Dan to bring the Masters Olympia to Orlando.
We'll start your GoFundMe page, Vinny, and if you come in, Jimmy, they'll get a GoFundMe page for you too.
I will never do that. I'll get a second job.
Hey, we've always worked our asses off, right?
Yep.
Could you imagine if we had GoFundMe pages back then? Shit.
When I trained for the USA back in '93, I worked for the Jersey City Parking Authority, and I used a jackhammer. I'm serious. I was drilling holes for parking meters while I'm dieting for the USA. So I'm like, I hear people saying, I got to get a GoFundMe page. I can't work. I'm like, what? You're doing a local show. What are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing. You're competing because you want to compete. Here's another topic. Everybody's complaining about competing. Dude, no one's asking you to compete.
Yeah. Dom Cardone.
If you don't like the federation, go somewhere else.
Right. I know. Dom Cardone posted something really cool today, and he broke it down about, you know, all the things you shouldn't be doing. If you're focused on what you're going to eat after the show, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're walking around like you want to beat somebody up, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So you see all these weird things that people do. And, you know, at work, you know, guys were asking me, are you competing? I'm like, yeah, I got 3 more weeks. You're not even complaining. I'm like, trust me, I'm complaining in my head, but what's it going to help? How's it going to help me walking around here and have everybody feel sorry for me? It's not doing anything for me.
My mother put me in my place. Good old Greek mom. It was 1986. I'm getting ready for the junior Mr. Greece. I had won the teenage in 84. Going in 86. And I'm still at home, and I was ready to eat, and I saw the chicken was a little more, you know, you can eyeball, you know, what's 8 ounces, you know, grams, whatever. And there was a little more chicken there. I went off on my mom, and my mom, my sweet little mom, gave me that look, and she pointed her finger at me, which like I saw the devil come at me, right? And she goes, "You listen here. No one is telling you or making you do this. You are making yourself do this. So figure it out yourself and cook your own damn food."
That was it.
Dude, 1986. I was in my own misery from thereafter.
Jimmy, is there anybody else that's come out of Greece that's been a pro?
Oh yeah, we got Michael Kefalianos. Remember him?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. He did the Olympia. He did great. Oh yeah, we got a couple of great guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Michael carried the torch for Greece. I mean, I wasn't the guy who carried the torch in competitive bodybuilding, you know, I carried in other ways, but Michael carried the torch. He did really well in the competitive bodybuilding.
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember the name now. Okay, I didn't realize it was Greek though. Okay.
Yeah, a couple other guys too. In other other IFBB back then, but Michael was the one who came and battled it out with the big boys. You know, he stayed with me a couple times and he was competing here. I came here in Florida.
Interesting. All right. Vin, I asked Jimmy last podcast, how many covers have you been on? I know you got a handful under your belt.
Oh yeah, Vinny's got a few.
I think 15 in total.
Yeah.
And a couple of magazine spreads, like 20 over the years.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it was different back then. I mean, I'd have an arsenal of photographers I knew I would call after the USA or the Nationals. You know, you make a relationship with them. I'd invest in myself, go to California, shoot with maybe 4 or 5 of them during the week. And fortunately, back then it was free. You get a free photo shoot. They sold the pictures to the magazines, and then you get a phone call maybe 6 months later, like, "Hey, you're going to be in this feature or something." So yeah, it was cool back then. I mean, and visiting LA and going to train at Gold's and
Marina Pacific.
Yeah, it was just fucking. It was great. It was a great time. Great time.
I remember I would go out there in 1996 when I had that run of covers, right? I went out in 1996, and the first 3 days I was doing hardcore bodybuilding shots, all right, with Chris Lund, Mike Nevue. I mean, like hardcore. But I stayed out there 2 weeks. So in the beginning, I'm doing black and whites. I'm doing hardcore veiny, big. By the end of the 2 weeks, I'm doing beach modeling shots with Paula Crane.
Paula.
Like, I'm down 10, 15 pounds, not one vein, okay, doing the beach modeling shots. You know, I even did a photo shoot for Calvin Klein. That's how small I was getting. Yeah, it was hilarious. And everybody's like, I'm showing these pictures and like, so when was this? I'm like, that was in 96. I'm like, when was this? I'm like, oh, that was in 96. We would go out there and everybody, like Vinny, we would go out there and we worked.
Oh, yeah. We worked. I remember one did a muscle and fitness photo shoot. Shit, it was from like 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And we hardly ate. You know, they gave us some lunch or something, like sandwiches, like, you know, and I don't know how we did it, but we kept our condition the whole day because we were outside in the sun, but we were working. And then everybody, in LA is like, "Hey man, why don't you come out, after the shoot?" And you're like, "No, man." And you go right back to the hotel, covered with tan, knowing the next day you got to shoot again. Yep. Yeah. I remember one of the very first photo shoots I did was before California. I worked with JBN, Just Be Natural.
Oh yeah.
And the guy, I don't know if his name was Rick or Rich. He was the owner, still is. And my head was blown up. I'm at Strong and Shapely Gym. I think I just won the Junior USA, and I'm acting like the mayor of the gym. And it was like it was a mom thing, like you're talking about your mom. He walked over to me. He's like, "You're working for me right now. Can you act like a professional? Pull your stomach in and stop talking to everybody." And I'm like, "Oh," and that was the day. I'm glad that happened because I had a big head. I'm like, I'm the man. I'm doing a photo shoot. Look at you idiots. You're just working out. You're doing nothing. And yeah, the guy put me on the spot and embarrassed me in front of like everybody. And it was like, boom. All right, let's go. That was my very first photo shoot, and he put me in line and just acted like a professional from that point on.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has occurred to everybody at least that one time that someone steps on your foot and wakes you up.
Yep. I got a lot of for instances. I mean, I got some good funny stories. I remember one time I landed the commercial for Twin Labs, and I'm all excited. I'm down in Florida guest posing at the Southern States. I'm with Gerard Dente. he's their athlete. And I'm so excited. I'm not even thinking. But I learned a lesson. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell anybody your business, because I told Gerard, I got the commercial. He's like, oh, that is awesome. I am so happy for you. Monday, I didn't have the commercial anymore because Gerard made the phone call. And he said, hey, I'm your athlete.
Right.
Vinny shouldn't be doing this. And they were like, you're right. And I lost the commercial. And that was a major commercial that he was in on TV.
Are you friends with Gerard now? Are you still friends with Gerard?
Of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. Gerard's great. It was a learning experience.
Gerard's one of the best.
Gerard's a great guy.
Yeah, Gerard's one of the best.
He's another one that I looked up. I thought he went pro too. I didn't realize he never got his pro card.
No. Do you know how many guys? Name me one guy aside from Gerard that should have went pro.
Edgar Fletcher.
Edgar Fletcher.
Oh, Edgar Fletcher, yeah.
And who'd you say?
Robbie Lopez.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he took second in USA 3 years in a row. Today, that would have been a pro.
Yeah.
Robbie looked just like Flex Wheeler.
You know who always, whenever I remember New Jersey and bodybuilding, do you remember? I'm sure you remember. You know who I'm talking. Bo Matlock.
Of course.
Okay. Do you remember when Bo Matlock did the Jennifer Holliday?
Of course.
Posing routine.
Yes.
And he basically copied Sean Ray's.
It was amazing.
I mean, both of those routines, but Bo was, man.
Yeah, Bo went in a different direction. I feel,
I know.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know why he went in that direction, but
Yep.
He's
there's a lot of good guys back then that never turned pro, but it was so hard. I mean, how many years did it take you? 12, 13?
16.
It took me 10.
Yeah. I laugh when people say, "Oh, it took me a long time."
Yeah.
Well, how long? 3 years. Like, oh my God.
People thought I was already a pro because I was already in the magazines.
Same here. Same people were like, oh, I thought you were pro already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we see pros now, listen, kudos to them because no one's telling them not to be a pro, right? But it's just watering down that level, right? That level of professional level. And here's another thing that I think they should do. Speaking of pro levels, I think having 36 guys at the Olympia, at the Open, let's just stick at the Open, right? I think it was 36, or let's just say it was over 30. Having 30 guys at the Olympia is way too many. Okay, the quality. I mean, I'd rather see 15 guys battle it out. Okay, top 15. That's it. Okay, and I think they should start tiering pro shows. Okay,
they should,
like tiering pro shows. Like you got the Arnold and the Olympia. You're in the top 2 or top 3. Let's just say you automatically qualify for the Olympia. Period. Done. Okay. The other shows, maybe there's another show, whatever, but the other shows, you have to be in the top 3 2 times in the year to qualify for the Olympia. Make them work because now nobody competes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like that.
What?
I think there is tiers, Jimmy. I think there are there's points based on different tiers. Like like a Florida is going to get less than a New York Pro versus wherever else. I think it is tiered.
It is tiered. Yeah.
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 I don't know if the point system is working then. How's that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they need to make it higher so there's less people in Olympia, like you said.
You got to be in the top 3 2 shows in a row, 2 shows that year to qualify for the Olympia. Period.
Yeah.
Now you're getting quality guys. Now you got guys who are really hungry for it. That's all.
You just sound like 3 old griping guys here on the call.
Listen. I'm still so in love with bodybuilding, and I think today I saw something go back and forth with Rich Gaspari and Barry DeMay, and they were both right, but I think the guys now on the internet just reamed them for no reason. What Rich was saying and what Barry was saying was, hey, back then there was a Christmas tree, now there isn't. Rich and Barry are not saying that these guys aren't good. They're just comparing, that they're not getting ready for shows. Look what we talked about, So I saw a lot of going back and forth, a lot of negative. Some people understood what Rich and Barry were saying, but I think I do believe that the new school or the fans today think that we're bitter of, towards the new school. No, I got to tell you, I love the new school, but because I don't want them making the same mistakes, I want to help them because they're doing things that they're not getting anywhere. It's taken them a lot longer to get to the top. Okay, then I don't think they're training hard enough. I don't think they're dieting hard enough, and I think they're just passive, getting through it. Okay, when they're going through workouts on videos and no one's cracking a sweat, I got a problem with that. And then you tell me you want to be better than the 90s. The reason why we're the 90s, and I'll stop here. The reason why the 90s are better than now is because look at us then and look at you now. You guys should be way better than us now. And you're not. Period. Everything has gotten better. Football players, speed, baseball players, everybody has gotten better somehow because there's research, there's tools, there's coaching, there's more information, right? Everybody should be better, and they're not. So if they want us to shut up, they need to be better than us, because we had nothing back then. We had trial and error, and they have more knowledge, more information out there, more resources to make us basically make us go away. They could.
Well, I think it goes back to you and I had Rich Gaspari in the gym. I had John Natashak. That's who I learned from. That's who I watched. One guy, just one, and 3 bodybuilding magazines. That's where I got my information from.
Right.
And for instance, just recently, I'm training and I'm overhearing 3 guys putzing around training and talking about how C-Bum trains, how this one trains, but they're wasting time because they're so damn confused, because they can see something on social media and have kind of like, I'm going to do that at 2:00 in the afternoon. And then by 5:00, when they get to the gym, they've read 4 other guys' stuff, and they're so confused on how to apply it. And then when they do go to the gym, they're not executing 100%. So no, I'm not ragging on today, but I am saying there's a problem with how they're approaching their workouts, because they're so confused with so much information that they don't know. One, they don't know their own bodies. They don't know how to train. 2, they've changed their mind probably 4 times on what they're going to do by the time they get to the gym. You and I, even to this day, and I'm not tooting my own horn, I don't mean it this way. We say, all right, today's leg day. All right, how do I feel right now? I'm going to hit extensions and leg curls back and forth for, look at the clock and maybe go a half hour and just keep going back and forth until I'm warmed up. And then I want to squat today, but I got to do something else before I squat. So I'm going to hit the leg press. I'm going to do this. Then I hit squats. But we kind of have a game plan. We don't go and say, let me look at Milos's videos and should I do a giant set? Or let me look at, God rest his soul, John Meadows' stuff. Right. Should I do cluster sets? Let me look at whoever else.
Do it all.
Huh?
Do it all.
Do it all. But the point is we know what to do and execute it. And when we have that plan, like I do, I look at John's stuff and go,
Vinny,
hey,
it's the intensity. Let them do it all.
And the grit.
Let them do it all. Let them do everything. The thing is, they don't get down in there. Let me, and I don't want to take away from anything from Chris. C-Bum to me is the new Arnold of bodybuilding. Period. Okay, he is. But 3 years he won the Olympia, right? This year he said, "I never trained so hard in my life." Why? Because he had Hani kick his ass in. So you're telling me 3 years now you win in the Olympia, and now in the 4th one you said, "I never trained so hard in my life." Are you telling me you weren't training as hard? No, he wasn't.
Yes.
So that right there shows me that if he's not maxed out, Okay. He should have been maxed out the second year and redo it the third year, redo it the fourth year. 3 years later, he's like, I kind of maxed out. And now he's got to go back and max out again. So no one's training hard enough. And again, I'll bring anybody in the pit. Anybody in the pit. Leave weight aside. Leave the weight aside. No one's going to out-train me intensity-wise. Nobody.
Well, I'm coming down. I'm training with
you. I'm trying to play with you, Vin.
We talked about that today. Nobody. You know why? Because we're trained here.
Yep.
I'll take that burn on that leg extension and embrace it and walk right through it. No one knows that there's no burn on the other side. You know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you go through those leg extensions and those legs burn, you keep going. There's no burn after that. You got to. It's like that. When the astronauts come back, what's that called again?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know what you're
the
talking
solar
about.
thing, right? What's it called?
I don't know,
Well,
but I know what you're talking about.
We're all talking about. That's all we know is bodybuilding.
It's muscleheads. Where you guys are.
So you know, when you do leg extensions and you feel that burn, if you can embrace it, not as pain. On the other side of that, there's no more pain.
Yeah, it stops.
It stops.
It's re-entry, Jimmy.
Right.
Re-entry.
There you go. Okay, now I can sleep. So how many people have done that? I took my wife Tammy through that. She still loves me. Okay. And she's like, oh my God, there's no more pain. I'm like, yes.
It's funny you saying that because like I put a lot of guys on the spot where I work. And I say, you don't train legs hard enough. And then people will say to other people, I saw Vinny putting you through a leg workout, but it looked so easy. Why were you crawling? And they're like, you don't understand. This is the worst experience I ever had in my life. And they're like, how was it so bad? Yeah. You were doing 5 reps. So I got this thing that I started doing about getting to the heaviest weight in a different way instead of doing 12 to 15. And then when you get to your 7 or 8, 9 plates on each side, then go balls out to 20. And it's a different workload. And supersetting leg extensions and doing 30 reps with 20 to 30 reps of leg curls, guys don't want to experience that. They don't.
No.
They're like, fuck you. Get away from me. I'll do my 12 reps and I'll go home.
One working set.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
that's
where it all starts, right? One working set. We did 4 or 5. That one was worse than the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I remember I used to get off, and then here we go. I don't want to make this about me, but I remember Rich and I, we used to do leg extensions and we'd do triple drops, right? And then he would tell me, okay, let's go train legs. And meanwhile, my knees are buckling.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, yeah, we're going to superset vertical leg press with the leg press over here. And we're going. And my legs are already sore going into the second exercise. But that happened every workout.
And you loved it.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. You just got a lot of grit and willpower, and you just know what you want.
So and again, this is not to rip on the young guys. I love the young guys. I actually thrive on the young guys. I just don't want them to waste time because we wasted time trying to figure this out, and everybody's trying to crack the code. We already cracked the code. It's called work.
Yeah.
There's no code. Get your ass in the gym, work, beat yourself up, smart, okay? Smarter than we did, okay? And eat your food. And do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
Yep.
You come in shape until your cheekbones are the only thing you see in the mirror. That's it.
I only have like 1 or 2 guys that I could invite to. I got this guy Juan, who just can't wait to train with me, and it's balls out. And I got another guy Dave. I trained with him today, and they're the only 2 that I trust that are not going to hold me back. you know, and it's like, it sucks to go to the gym and nobody knows what you're talking about when you ask for a spot. And I try to tell them, listen, the louder you get, I don't become stronger. I need your hands on the fucking bar. Spot me. And they're like, but I was spotting you. I was standing behind you. No, you and I try to teach them. And I have a lot of patience. I do. And then you just see them doing the same thing. It's like, what happened? Like, what the last 10, 12 years?
And I think that's our responsibility, you know, to be patient with them, show them, you know, but they also have to be open. And I think they are. I think there are, you know, and I think they're taking it wrong that, you know, we're beating them up because they're no good. I think they're great. I think they're amazing. They're amazing athletes. They're amazing people.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we just want to like help. We want to let them know what they're missing.
Yeah. Hey, let me show you something.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's
one of
what
those.
really.
Here, let me show you something. Let's do a leg workout together. And you know, like they'll look at me like, "Fuck, you want to do that, old man?" I'm like, "Come here, let me show you."
Oh yeah.
You know, but nobody wants to step with me in the pit. Nobody.
Yep.
So
Man.
I'm expecting you, Vinny, to come down.
Oh, I'm coming.
You know,
Once
I don't know who's gonna walk out of there alive, but you know, I'm
crawl out alive.
Once you officially put your name in a hat, Jimmy, then he'll be down there to push you.
No, I'll be down there before.
No, he's gonna come down before
We'll
because
have
he's gonna push me to put my name in the hat. I know he is, because he ain't going to Romania by himself.
That's gonna make good content. Make sure you got someone following around with a video camera or a phone or something.
Yeah, when I come down, we'll video.
The whole thing about me in Romania is I have to keep my lower back healthy. Everything else I'm seeing, you know, I have a quad tear. I didn't even know I had on my teardrop. It's just a little line there. I'm such a perfectionist. I'm like, oh, can't do it.
No, you can do it.
Yeah, you know how we are, you know. And I got it's a lipoma. You see this?
Yeah.
This?
Oh, jeez.
It's a lipoma. It doesn't even hurt. I don't even know what it is. And I went to
really animals get those. I don't think people got them.
Well, I guess I'm an animal, man. You know,
get that cut out.
Yeah. And he says, I'll just cut it out. It doesn't even hurt. It doesn't do anything.
I had 2 on my back. I had them
cut out.
Yeah. They just cut. I mean, you can't see it on my back anymore, but I have a little scar. A couple of years ago, it was this big thing, and I didn't see it until I was dieted down.
Me too. That's what I'm saying. Right now, it's like when I pose, look, it's got this thing popping out. And I'm like, couldn't it be a little higher so it'd be on my horseshoe? You know, but no, it's not.
No. That's synthol. Bullshit.
Yeah, the Escalade would have wore off by now.
Oh, yeah. My body already absorbed all that shit.
Escalade. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't do the synthol. I only did a cycling in my calves. That's it.
All right.
My right calf was torn.
But all jokes aside, I think we're in a good spot with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I think it's actually
it's
going in a good direction. I mean, it's going to be an amazing thing. We got some great masters promoters out there. You know, and I can't wait until April 25th that Alana and Jake will announce who's in the Masters Olympia. I'm excited. I'm already like listening to music. It's like I'll drive down to work and I'm like, let me put some music on. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to know if I'm invited until April, so I don't want to get my hopes up too much.
Right.
And I'm thinking, how long are they going to give us? They got to give us at least 3 minutes to do a posing routine. They can't do this 60 seconds bullshit.
I don't think at that point, if you're posing good, I don't think they're going to shut the music. I remember when I used to pose. I remember the DJ used to come out in the curtain. Twice I threatened the DJ. I was like, you fucking turn that music off. I'm coming after you.
Hey, Vinny, so Emmerich's actually watching right now, and he just commented, I had 2 of those removed last week from my back.
Perfect. Emmerich, I'm going to contact you later to give me some of that magic potion you're giving to Vinny.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just hope with the Masters that it's successful and it continues, because I know the 90s, you had 92, 93, where Louis made his comeback, and then 2010, they did it when I think Dexter won, and it kind of fizzled again. I hope it kind of picks up again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Again, it's all about, you know, who shows up and who we motivate.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Sean. That is in my mindset we got history to make.
Yeah.
Nostalgia and representing guys from the past, and hoping that, you know, I'm thinking about when I think about this, I'm like, man, this is going to be a cool opportunity to be stepping on stage, especially now after, is it 12 years was the last one?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was 2010.
Years? Yeah, 2010. So it's going to be 13 years by the time it rolls around. So I hope I'm invited. I'm going to try to be one of the best representatives to enter the show.
Don't piss anybody off from now until April.
What?
Don't piss anybody off from now until April.
No, I'm just going to piss you off with leg day.
I'm in. I'm all in. Let me tell you. Remember?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
You remember when Kevin came back?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kevin came back, and he did his thing, and then he got ready to go to Australia. You remember?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody was happy. Everybody's ecstatic. Everybody's on the edge to see Kevin compete. And I'll never forget this because I had a long talk with Kevin after Australia. And he said to me, he goes, Jimmy, he goes, I came dead last, but I won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him saying that in the magazines too.
He goes, Jimmy, Kevin Levrone came dead last. He goes, but let me tell you, I won.
He put that to rest.
You're right. You see what I'm saying? He resurrected that whole Kevin Levrone, you know, because it wasn't the physique. It was his attitude. It was his drive. It was his mental state. It was that mindset that he had, that he inspired and motivated everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I think that our generation for this Masters, or whoever's getting ready for this, or we're at this age, is that we have, and I'm going to say an obligation, we have an obligation to give back, or whatever you want to call it, to the younger generation, and even the people who aren't competing at our age. It's like, we're still doing it.
Well,
we're still in the gym. We're still, you know, dieting. We're still eating healthy. We're still doing this thing, you know. But they say, you know, it's, if you, what was that saying? Give me a second. I have it here. And it was so deep for me. I actually put it in my notes because I was going to use it for a quote. I'm sorry.
Well, you're looking at, but I think the big thing is people need to remember, though, that you have to almost take it at face value. I mean, respectively, that Jimmy, you compete. We're not going to see Jimmy Mentis of 93 or 280 pounds at 3%. We're not going to see Darren Charles at 235 from the 98 Night of Champion. No, but I mean, because that's where this could go wrong, and hopefully it won't. Where it's going to be more negative. All the young folks saying,
right,
"Oh my God, did you see this guy? He looked, 6 weeks out of shape." I want to go into this scene enjoying myself, seeing the guys that I loved and admired, and stepping on stage again.
I don't think that's going to happen.
If we come in, well, I'm going to say Vinny because he's already doing the show. If Vinny comes in and every other guy who's going to do this show comes in full, healthy, and lean, the quality muscle's already there.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about presentation at that point. It's all about attitude. It's all about having a great time. And I think that's what the crowd is going to love about it, is like, hey, look, you know, this is what's going on. Here's a quote. It says, we don't stop moving because we grow old. We grow old because we stop moving.
Yeah, I've heard that. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
To me, it hit me. I'm like, okay, it's leg day.
you know, to circle back to what you were saying before, which just, it popped in my head. You know, back in the day when the Masters Olympia was every year for like, what would they have, like 8 or 9 of them?
Yeah.
And then a few years it disappeared, and then it came back and Dexter won. We didn't have a Masters circuit on the IFBB, in the IFBB. So now we have a lot of guys who, Jimmy, you know, when we were teenagers, you had 15 to 20 teenagers in each weight class. Now you're lucky if one kid shows up. And now at the shows, you know, and we used to make fun of the 36-year-old that would win a master show, like Masters. Now, Masters is the teenage version, right? So you got like the master shows are swamped with guys, men and women, and they're coming in great, and it's given them the way I look at it, the way I'm approaching the Masters Olympia. God willing, I'm invited. I want to be a inspiration, a motivation for the Masters competitors that are up and coming.
But Vinny, you already are. The thing is, I think what you are doing is saying, hey, listen, I can take my mind there. You see what I'm saying? You're already an inspiration, brother. You already eating that shit. You're already gone. Okay. You're already on that mountain. The thing is like, it's that mental fortitude, it's that champion mindset. Okay. That people would love to have. So by them seeing your posts, reading your posts, you doing your videos, they get to see that and they get to practice that. You don't become a champion because you wake up one day. It's practice.
Right. Of course. You know, but I still see myself as the guy who took dead last in 18.
You're always going to see that.
I see that because if I think for 1 second and I look back and go, oh, I won 8 Masters Pro shows, then the old Vinny comes back and gets cocky. And I need to keep myself in a position where I'm still forging ahead. The way I look at it is, I'm not going to win every show, but I want to make sure that when guys know I'm in it, I'm a fucking headache to them. Right. I'm making them nervous. Right. So I want to give that drive and energy to the guys who are saying, hey, you know, I used to compete when I was 18, 19 years old. I got the family thing out of the way, kind of like settling into my life. I'm 49 years old, 50 years old. Well, Vinny Galanti's still doing it. I want to inspire that. You know?
You're absolutely right.
And I want to inspire the guys. Listen, back in 18, when I saw Jeff Williams winning a few of the over 50 Pittsburgh Masters, I was like, oh, I got it. That's the look. You know, if it wasn't for Jeff Williams, there would be no Vinny Galanti right now, because
Vinny, we talk and you motivate me and I motivate you. We actually say that to each other.
Of course.
We're two pros. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we motivate each other, there are other people out there that watch you, you know, and saying, hey, I maybe I don't want to compete, but you know what? I'm going to follow his mindset.
Yeah.
Because a bench press is a bench press. A squat's a squat. A barbell curl is a barbell curl. You're not going to show them anything different. They're already seen every single influencer out there trying to tell them which way is wrong, which way is right, which to me, every way is right. Okay?
I believe that. Yes.
You know, every way is right. Okay. Elbows out, elbows in. What every way is right is what works for you. But what it boils down to is, where's your mind? Where do you put your mind to go to where you want to go? How do you get in that frame of mind to get under that squat rack, to get the results, to push you through? I got money problems. I got family problems, right? How did we get through all that? I was piss broke, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, boom, boom. I lived in Greece and I won the Empire State in 1989. I remember I had $11 in my pocket backstage.
Jeez.
And I'm saying to myself, all I have to go back now is I had my trip back to the airport from JFK because my buddy was going to take me, right? And I had two bags of Doritos, and I was carrying my trophies, and I went back to Greece with $11. So
yeah.
So, but again, you put everything aside, right? Because that becomes your time. What I like people to get out of my training is you have to have your time. And that time, to me, when I miss a day or two and I'm not supposed to miss it from the pit or just exercising, it's medicine to me. Right?
Oh, sure.
And I take advantage of that. I take the medicine, I try to convert it into muscle. Okay. So I'm just trying to take advantage of that whole thing, exercising, mindset, you know, and I think that's something that people can take from us, because we still have issues in life. They have issues in life, but you can still, that to me is something they can escape. Some people are like, oh man, I got too many problems today. I don't feel like training. No, man.
It's when you do train.
That's when you need to train. You don't need to go in and, you know, and lift heavy weights. Just go in and do something for yourself. Walk on the treadmill. Start by walking on the treadmill. Then you see other people train. You're like, okay, let me try this. And before you know it, guy's already in there 45 minutes, getting a little pump, going home to his family, his wife, and saying, hey, I'm good today. You see what I'm saying? It's everybody, even when women, right? I don't want to get on the women's side, but when women take care of themselves, the household is much happier. When men take care of themselves, the household is much happier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Vinny, I want to share this here for just a minute. A couple of people chime in here and there. Vinny is a huge source of motivation. His intensity when training is contagious.
Well,
I don't know what Weapon X is, but
no, that's the guy I was just mentioning, Juan.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
totally
train together.
He's
He's one of the very few people that he can keep up with me, and it's cool. I mean, he came to me. I trained him. He did a show last year, and I said, you're better than that. And we changed a whole bunch of things, and he kept improving. And, you know, even a guy like Juan, I get feedback from him, and I learn. You know, he's just a little bit younger than me. But just because he's not a pro, I don't align myself up with only the guys who are pros. You got to align yourself up with who match your energy,
right?
You know, and he matches my energy. I find him now as a friend and a good guy. And he's a hard worker. He's a blue collar guy, and you know, like you said, you go to the gym, you conquer your demons, and it's a better world, right?
Absolutely. And that's, to me, that would be my ideal connection with everybody else. It's not about the muscles. The muscles is just something, you know, I loved, and I got into bodybuilding. And now I think if I can just give back in that way, and the only way I can give back in a positive way is, hey, here's my training videos, DM me, you know, any way I can help, I'm here. And to me, I love that. I can say I'm a sucker for that. I love it.
We can do a whole nother podcast just on that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, guys, you just came on the 2 hour mark, but you know, it's been a
great
conversation.
Yeah, 2 hours.
And I think we go another 2 hours, but is there anything else that maybe we haven't is there anything else that we haven't discussed or covered that go off your chest, good, bad, or different?
No,
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me, Sean. I appreciate it coming on with Vinny and stuff.
Yeah,
this has been great. Doors always open.
Vinny and I go back, and I have a tremendous love for this guy.
Thank you.
You know,
I remember where was I? My family was here, and we were on the phone, and you said, "All right, love you, brother." I said, "Love you too." And they're looking at me like, "Who are you talking to?"
Yeah, they don't get it.
Jim.
Wife give you the evil eye? Wife give you an evil eye?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you know, there's and every bodybuilder who's competed a long time and stuff, the grind, right? It's the grind, the grit. There's a respect. There's a mutual respect. There's a brotherhood. You know, there's a brotherhood in bodybuilding that nobody can break. Nobody.
No.
So Vinny, do you want to take us out with your big announcement? I know it's been all over social media, but I have people watching that don't have social media, surprisingly.
So Sean and I are teaming up. I've been wanting to do a podcast for the longest time that's focused on the over 40 athlete, over 50 athlete. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm teaming up with Sean. He's going to do the logistics end.
Because Sean knows what he's doing.
Yes. Sean knows what he's doing.
I'm the audio video guy.
I don't know. I know what I don't know, and I'm not going to go down that road. So, we're teaming up. I got Gary Udit as my first guest.
Oh, that's great.
First guest on Wednesday, January 4th. And we also have Jose Raymond lined up, Rusty Jeffers, and Bill Grant. So
congratulations.
That's going to be great. Bill Grant, who was Arnold Schwarzenegger's trainer partner, he's still banging away. What is he, 73?
74, 75, I think. Yeah.
74. and he's still training. You know, Bill and I go back a long way. Where I remember today it's the Steve Stone Classic, but it used to be called the Suburban Bodybuilding Championships, and that was the show. And I won the middleweight and overall novice, and Bill was the MC. And I can still hear his voice today and how he announced me. And it was, you know, something I'll never forget. And, you know, just real quick, I just want to say one more thing, which just popped in my head. And Jimmy, I don't know if
Go for it.
There was like an unwritten rule back in the 80s and 90s. If you couldn't win the Suburban, you don't go to the Jersey. And if you couldn't win the Jersey, you don't go to the Junior USA, let alone go to the USA Nationals. And with this whole thing today, when guys are doing one show, I want to turn pro. I want to go to I want to go to Nationals. I'm like, it's the Nationals. It's not Nationals. It's called the NPC Nationals. And they're like, oh, I want to do the Nationals in July. No, that's the fucking USA. Get the shows right. Like, it annoys me when people don't respect the fact of how much work it takes to get into on a national level. So that's my little gripe.
But that's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault.
It's the organization's fault.
Well, it encompasses everything.
It's the organization's fault because they make it so easy to get an IFBB Pro card.
Well, it's also social media's more fault than anything. But anyway, let's not go that. Let's not piss anybody off, like you said.
You know what? We'll talk about that on your new podcast.
Okay, we'll touch base.
What's it called?
Masters Muscle.
That's the logo? Let me see it.
Yeah. So
Vinny, you're promoting those. How can people buy one of those?
Just DM me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm setting up.
What size do you have?
Let me know. I'll DM you. I'll Venmo you some money. I want one. No,
I'll send you one. So
what sizes do you have?
What's that?
Sizes. Like what are your sizes?
From I think medium up to XXX, and I just have a couple of XXX.
Okay.
Hey Vin, do you remember? Obviously, here we go. One more thing. Do you remember that little hook that you sent me?
Yeah.
You need to promote that, buddy.
I'm bringing that back out because I'm
not gonna say anything more because I want you to do it.
Yeah. So amazing. I made this apparatus, Sean, during the pandemic, and it just didn't take off during the pandemic, but I think it's going to take off now.
He sent it to me. He sent me 2. Freaking love them. I use them all the time.
Shark Tank?
No, I won't. You can't go on a Shark Tank. I don't think Cuban would even like. He wouldn't know how to use it.
But I might do a video with it.
Yeah, do a video.
Yeah, I might do a video.
Jimmy, I got to give you love, brother. You got some great shirts too. Where can people look at your merchandise?
They can just DM me. They go to www.pitgym.net.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I really promote the Pit because everybody, you know, I don't have members. It's not a commercial gym, but the Pit, the clothing line, everybody wants. Everywhere I go, what's the Pit? It's my gym. Oh, that's nice. Like I've been wearing Beauty Fit for 15 years.
Nobody has
polo shirts, right? Not one person like, what's Beauty Fit? What's Beauty Fit? Right? I wear these Pit shirts everywhere I go. What's the Pit? What's the Pit? So.
Oh, another thing too, people can contact me on mastersmuscle.com.
Very cool.
That's
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's going to be fun. It happened just like really quick. 1 minute video. I was talking about it. The next minute, he texts me that night, and he's like, "I have 4 guests already." He's like, "What do we need to do?"
Good. That's it.
Well, I mean, I said, let's do this, and I'm not going to wait on it. I'm going to contact everybody I know, and let's get going.
You know what they say? Either take a shit or get off the pot.
That's what I said to Sean.
And in business, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's it. So guys, again, I always appreciate your time, and everybody that's watching. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Guys, stay on for just a minute. Everybody, thank you so much for watching SuppTalk Radio.